Welcome to another Django tutorial. Today we're going to create a detail page for every movie on our site. I know, that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, our site can literally display thousands of movies. The good news is it's not a lot of work at all, because even though every time a user clicks on a movie, they would see what seemingly is a unique detail page specific to that movie with the movie's poster and the movie's title and so on. What's actually going on is the URL is different, the data is different, but it's the same template. It really does feel like illusionary magic, except it is much easier. The key is knowing how to write dynamic routes and how to pass params to views so that the views can fetch the correct data and pass it to the template. Let's learn. So this tutorial is part of a Django learning series. If you haven't watched the previous video and you want to code along, you'll find a link to the GitHub repo in the description. You can clone it. Either way, let me get you up to speed. So we've obviously created a Django project. We've created a movies app inside of it. And we've created the landing page. We're getting our movie data from the movie database API, and we're styling our project with Bootstrap. So like we said, what we want to do right now is make it so that when we click on a movie, we go to a movie detail page with the movie details. We can begin by creating a new template and call it movie detail.html. And just like we've done for our landing.html, which is the template for our landing page, we need to extend base.html. That's because it has our HTML boilerplate. It's also where we have included Bootstrap as well as HTMX. And it's where we have defined blocks and included our navbar. Okay, now we need to define a view for our movie detail. Like we said earlier, a view is the function that's going to be responsible for returning the HTML contents of our web page. How about we call it movie detail? Let's pass in request. We want to make it so that we would click on a movie poster and we would go to another page that would show the details of that movie. So we'll get the movie details from the details endpoint on the movie database, this one. So I'm going to copy it and create variable movie detail URL, I guess, and I'll set it to that URL. And obviously we're going to need movie ID. So let's put it in as a param. And let's make this an F string. And of course, the movie database would not allow us to make a request successfully without authenticating us first. So we're gonna need to pass our API key like we've done before. So we have variable API key here in landing page. I'm going to cut it and paste it outside so that it's available globally and we can access it from our movie detail function as well. Now let's add API key and set it to API key. Alrighty, so just like we have done for our landing page view, let's add a try and accept block. Try. So we want to try to make a GET request to the movie detail endpoint. So let's set response to request.get. We'll pass in the movie detail URL. And just like we've done in our landing page, let's add response.raise for status, which will raise an exception if we get a 400 or 500 response. Now let's set data to response.json. Now let's add the accept block, just like we've done for our landing page. If there's an exception, let's set data to an empty list and add an error message. I'll just copy it and paste it. And also let's have a variable error message initialized to an empty string because we'll be passing error message to our template. Let's write the return statement. So return render request. The template we want to render is our movie detail.html template. So let's write its relative path from the templates directory. So movies/movie underscore detail.html. And we want to pass in our movie data to the template. So let's add it to our context dictionary as movie, key movie, value, data. And we also want to pass the error message. So error message. All right, now let's go to URLS.py and create the path to our movie detail page. So comma path. And let's have the path to our movie detail page be movie / the ID of the movie. As you remember, we need to pass in the ID of the movie to our view so that we can fetch the movie details, right? And we will be doing that through the URL. So the movie ID is going to be an integer. So int movie ID. Okay, and here we need to write the view that's going to handle the request. So let's import it. It's our movie detail view. So movie detail. And now let's give this path a name. Let's call it movie detail. Okay, and now let's go back to our landing.html template. Actually, the movie list partial, because that's where we have the anchor element that we have created earlier. So right now, if you click on a movie, nothing happens, but we want to actually get redirected to the movie detail. So let's add movie detail URL. Django makes it so easy to link to URLs. So we're gonna use the curly braces and percentage signs and write URL again, and then write the name of the path we want to link to, which is movie detail, and we want to pass the movie ID. So all we gotta do is just pass it like this. So movie.id. Okay, let's see if that works. So let's go back and refresh. Now I'm gonna click on Moana. Okay, we got redirected, and this number, I'm assuming, is the movie ID. Let's see if that's true. Let's go to our movie detail.html and let's add block content. If you remember, we've defined block content in base.html. Let's add an h1 element and see if we can render the movie's title. So movie.title. Let's refresh. Yay, it worked. Moana 2. Now let's see if we can get the movie overview. So let's maybe add a paragraph element and in it the overview. So movie.overview. Let's refresh. Yay! Cool. Alrighty, now let's try to style our movie detail page. How about we wrap our content inside a bootstrap container? So let's create a div element and give it the class container. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's better. How about we have the image on the left side and we have like details show on the right side. So we can accomplish this with grid. So over here, we have in the example a grid with 3 columns. What we want is a grid with 2 columns. So let's create a div element and give it the class row. I'm gonna put it under the movie title. And we said we want the image to be on the left and the overview to be on the right. So I'm going to copy 2 of those divs with a class call and paste them. And I'll put our movie overview in the second one. And in the first one, we want our image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the image element we've created in our movie list partial. And I will just paste it. And I'm not sure, but I think this should render the movie's image as well, because I believe that this endpoint would also return a poster path. Yes, it does. It does return poster path. So let's see. Let's refresh. Yay, it worked. And it actually kind of looks very good. Maybe we could add some margin, like let's say margin Y5 to our container element. Yeah, that's better. Cool. Okay, so what kind of information would you want to see here? I feel like it's important for me to know the genre, right? So it's going to be an array of objects. Okay, and each object has a name. All right, so where would we want to put it? Probably under the overview. So let's create a for loop. We want to loop through the movie genres. For genre in movie dot genres. Let's put end for before we forget it. I'm traumatized by all the times I forgot an end for and got an error. Let's put our genres in list tags, and we want to show the genre's name. So genre.name. Okay, let's see if that worked. So let's refresh. Oh wow, it did. Django has a pretty handy template tag called empty. And it's really cool because it's kind of like saying if empty or if no genres, right? So if there are no genres, if empty, then we want to say no genres provided or something like that. Now let's add an unordered list tag here. And let's style our genres. How about list inline? So I'm gonna give the unordered list the class list inline, and our list items will have list inline item. All right, let's refresh. Okay, not bad. Let's add a title here. Have to say genres. Fresh. Okay, not bad. Should we keep this a list item, or should we maybe make it a paragraph element instead? And perhaps give it the class text muted, like this one. Yeah, I think this one would be appropriate. Okay, I think this could do for now. What else do we want to see? Release date. Yeah, maybe release date. Like maybe we could put it under the movie's title. Let's refresh. All right, not bad. Let's maybe give it the class text muted, as well as font weight light and small. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, better. Okay, so I don't know about you, but when I want to watch a movie, a lot of the time I like to know which actors are in it. And I didn't see cast or anything like that in this endpoint. I think that if we wanted to get the cast and director and stuff like that, we could use the credits endpoint. So let's copy it. Let's copy the URL. And let's go back to views.py and let's create another variable, movie credits URL. Yeah, and it's also gonna be an F string. Let's paste the URL. Okay, and we will also wanna provide the API key. Now let's look at our try block. We have response set to requests.get movie detail URL. Let's rename response to movie underscore detail underscore response instead, because now we have two responses and it's best to be descriptive. And let's rename data to movie data. Okay, let's create a new try and accept block. So try movie credits response, and let's set it to requests.get movie credits URL, and let's also add raise for status. So movie credits response dot raise for status. Now let's create variable and call it credits data and set it to movie credits response dot JSON. And for the accept block, I'm just gonna copy the accept block we created earlier, paste it, and change this variable movie data, and I'll set it to credits data. Alrighty, and now let's add credits data to our context dictionary. So I'll set the key to credits and the value to credits data. Okay, now let's go back to our detail template. And how about we put the cast under genre? So let's open another unordered list. Actually, I'm just going to copy the whole code block we created for the genre and paste it. I'll make it for member in credits dot cast member dot name, and the error I'll set it to no cast info provided. Let's refresh. Okay, so that's our cast. Let's add a title, just like we've done for our genres, and have it say cast. Right, let's refresh. All right, cool. So we also said that we would like to get the director. The director would be part of the crew list with job director. All right, so what we want to do is probably loop through the crew members till we find a crew member with the job director. Let's add another title here and have it say director, and we'll open another for loop. So for member in credits dot crew, and of course we want to add an end for. Okay, now we want to check if member dot job is director, and when there is an if there should always be an end if. All right, so as we were saying, if the member's job is director, show the member's name. Member dot name, and if empty, then we want to say no director info available this time instead of provided. Let's give our list the class inline item, and let's wrap the director block in unordered list as well. Okay, and now let's check how this looks. Let's refresh. Yay! We got the director. Actually, there's more than one. Maybe it's better to make it directors. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Okay, so I like what I'm seeing so far, but I feel like there are so many cast members and we're probably gonna be interested in only the first 10. We can super easily only show the first 10 using Django's built-in slice template filter. Django has a lot of template filters that are very handy. Anyways, you want the slice filter. Okay, so to use it, just like with any Django filter, you just add a vertical pipe and then the name of the filter. The slice filter in particular uses the same syntax as Python's list splicing. What I'm gonna do out of laziness and in order to avoid typos is just copy from the docs and paste it where we want it. So we want only the first 10 cast members, so the first 10 items in the list. So I'll just replace 2 with 10. And now let's go back to our site and refresh. It worked so quickly and easily. Thanks, Django. And thank you for watching, and I really hope you've learned something new and enjoyed the video. If you have, give the video a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video where we're going to work on authentication so that our users can create accounts. It's gonna be fun. See you there. Bye.